Number 10. His silence. Before Will's apology was posted on YouTube, fans thought it seemed kind of strange that the internet hasn't really heard anything from the actor in the 4 months since the incident took place. He did post on Instagram shortly after the Oscars night and said that violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. Quote, "My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable." He went on to say that jokes at his own expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for him to bear and he reacted emotionally. He also admitted that slapping his longtime friend and comedian was way out of line and simply wrong. Although the apology seemed genuine at the time, not much has changed since then, and it seems like he's still trying to justify his actions in the post, when it was supposed to be an actual apology to Chris Rock. So not only was the timing off, but a lot of people are wondering what the second apology was for, if he was just going to stand by the argument he made in the first one. But to be fair, in the video, Will said he didn't immediately apologize to Rock in his Oscars acceptance speech because by that point he was fogged out and said everything was fuzzy. Number 9. Chris Rock's mother. If the internet wasn't fully convinced that Smith was in the wrong, they sure were when Chris Rock's mom opened up about how the incident broke her heart. Rosalie, who goes by Rose Rock, told her local news station about what she did when she saw the moment on live TV. Rose thought that the slap was staged until Will started using obscenities. Quote, "When he slapped Chris, he slapped all of us, because when you hurt my child, you hurt me." His mother also said that she would usually attend the Academy Award ceremony with her son. However, this year she decided to stay home. During her interview with WIS-TV, Rosalie also reacted to Smith's speech for Best Actor and said that no one had even heard his speech because no one was able to be in the moment, as everyone was just sitting there and stunned. As for whether or not she accepted Smith's apology to Chris, his mother said what was on everyone's mind. Quote, "I feel really bad that he never apologized. I mean, his people wrote up a piece saying I apologize to Chris Rock. But you see something like that is personal, you reach out," which is exactly why the internet is not jumping to forgive him no matter how much time has passed. Number 8. Evaded criticism. Among all of the criticism that the actor has received, one that really seemed to stand out is people being upset with the format of the video apology. The ladies on The View really hit the nail on the head when they spoke about how disappointing it was to see Will Smith upload a 5-minute video addressing what is actually a really big issue, considering that it happened to Dave Chappelle too that same month. The hosts voiced their opinion about the Oscars slap and spoke about Smith's apology video not long after it had been released. While they unanimously agreed that it was a good first step, they still think that he needs to do more. Alyssa Farah Griffin summed it all up. Quote, "I think he's got to go further, and even the fact that he didn't do this in more of an interview format where he might get challenged with some tough questions, I was a little surprised by." She then went on to say that it's a lot easier to say something scripted to camera than to ask, "What was your motivation? Why didn't you then apologize in your acceptance speech?" Alyssa feels Smith should have sat down with Oprah because she would have challenged him. Joy Behar also agreed with her and thought that he should have come on The View instead. Number 7. Cancelled. It's no secret that several of Smith's projects have either been cancelled altogether or shelved in the fallout from the Oscars incident, and that's why people are quick to assume that he's only apologizing for damage control. His career really took a hit. For instance, Apple has already delayed the release of his film Emancipation to 2023, and Netflix has stepped away from Fast and Loose, a drama which was supposed to star Smith, and canned the sequel to his 2017 action film Bright. Sony has also reportedly paused production on Bad Boys 4, and this Joker has been cancelled as well, which was a stand-up comedy show hosted and executively produced by Smith. The series featured a raft of stand-ups including Punky Johnson and Chris Estrada, so it's no surprise that fans and even fellow celebrities believe his apology video is just another strategy to combat the wave of cancellations. For instance, American comedian Christopher Titus was among the many Twitter voices that condemned the apology as insincere and self-centered. Quote, "Chris said he'll contact you when he's ready. Why are you pushing him? You attacked a man on global broadcast. You don't get to pick the redemption schedule. And by doing it publicly, you made it about you again." Wow. Number 6. Comeback. Will is now making big moves in an effort to have something of a career comeback, which has suffered quite a bit due to him being cancelled. It's been revealed that Smith is planning to star in a sequel to one of his most iconic movies, I Am Legend. Speaking to The Sun, an industry insider revealed that Smith has been in talks to reprise his role in the 2007 original film, which was a complete box office hit, making almost $600 million. The script is still being written at the moment, and sources close to the project revealed that the concept is still to be signed off by Warner Brothers, but there has been no indication that Will has been kicked off. The insider added, quote, "The reality is that Will make a comeback at some point, and it will simply be down to which studio will be the one to take a chance on him," and added that Warner Brothers Studios have not ruled out Smith returning to the movie franchise at all. So that's where his apology comes into play. A lot of people like Morgan Freeman see it as a PR move and a way for the actor to slowly start rebuilding his reputation in Hollywood. Quote, "This Will Smith apology video has a PR team written all over it. They're testing the waters to see how the general public feels about him. Nothing to do with Chris." Gotta love that from Morgan Freeman. Number 5. Jadens tweet. The internet has been dunking on Jaden Smith since he was old enough to give interviews, but the 23-year-old really added a lot of fuel to the flame when he posted on social media backing his father for attacking Chris Rock. Right after the incident, Jaden came rushing to his father's defense, tweeting, "And that's how we do it," after the slap was broadcast all around the world. The rapper and actor also shared a photo of himself wearing sunglasses, looking dazed in the backseat of a car, with the caption, "My dad's speech made me cry." The photo got retweeted more than 42,000 times and was met with mostly negative responses from social media users, some alleging that the star was a hypocrite because earlier in the month he tweeted, "Praying for peace in the world." Some users mocked his tweet by using his own comments against him, saying that he should instead be talking about the political and economic state of the world right now, which was pretty hilarious, but it goes to show you how much the internet is really starting to turn against the Smiths, because Jaden was not able to support his dad without being roasted on Twitter. Although he might have been trying to help, he was really just making the hate train worse. Number 4. Still defending Jada. Viewers of the Oscars this year were left completely in shock when Will infamously walked up on stage and slapped Chris Rock across the face for making jokes about Jada. But what most people don't know is that the beef between the Smiths and Rock actually goes back several years, so the tension has always been there. Chris once took aim at Jada when he was hosting the 2016 Oscars because the couple had very publicly decided to boycott the event. At the time, their protest was due to the fact that no actors of color were nominated for the second year in a row. Chris said, quote, "Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited." The comedian also took a dig at Will and spoke about the actor's performance in his movie Concussion, saying that it's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated, then added it's also not fair that Will was paid $20 million for Wild Wild West. And while Smith does apologize in his new video, he still seems to reiterate the same point, that the reason he responded violently was because Rock's joke referenced the hair loss that Pinkett Smith suffered because of her alopecia. So many people just didn't believe that that was the reason that he had attacked Chris Rock. Number 3. The first slap. This is really bizarre, but after the slap incident at the Oscars, now another piece of information about Will has surfaced online. The old video started doing the rounds on social media, and fans were shocked to see that Will had slapped a reporter when he leaned in and tried to kiss the actor at the premiere of Men in Black 3 in Moscow in 2012. What happened exactly? Well, the actor was on the red carpet when the Ukrainian reporter approached him. Alleging that the reporter tried to kiss him on his mouth, Smith pushed him away before slapping him with the back of his hand. The reporter was a prankster named Vitaly Seduk, who was asking for a hug but got slapped instead as he went too close to the actor. After the Oscars incident, Seduk reacted by comparing the two moments with photos on Instagram. He captioned the post with, quote, "But Will Smith practiced on me first, only to perform his slap at the Oscars." Will later explained himself in an interview with David Letterman, who asked him why he beat up a guy who was trying to hug him. Quote, "I didn't beat up a guy," he said. says, "I'm your biggest fan, can I have a hug?" So I go in to give this joker a hug and he tries to lean in and kiss me. The old video started a fierce debate over whether or not Will is erratic and violent, or if other people would have reacted the same if they were in that situation. Number 2, various controversies. This year seems to be the pinnacle of controversy for the Smiths, and the public have lost a lot of trust in them as a result. There's so much there, like when Jada admitted to dating Will while he was still married to his now ex-wife Sheree Zampino, the family's alleged ties to Scientology, or the fact that they were investigated by CPS. But what really tops this list is when musician August Alsina brought the Smiths' relationship into the spotlight in July 2020, when he revealed that he was romantically involved with Pinkett Smith and that Will knew about it the whole time and had even given them his blessing. Though Jada initially denied the claims, she eventually confessed to being in an entanglement with August when she and her husband were separated. Quote, "We decided we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy and I'll figure out how to make myself happy," Smith said during an appearance on Red Table Talk in July 2020. They both went on the talk show together, and in a heartbreaking episode, Jada told Will how she came to be romantically involved with August, and how he made her feel special because of what was lacking in their relationship at the time. The clip went viral online, and for a lot of fans, the illusion of their perfect marriage was shattered in an instant, and they didn't appreciate being misled all these years. And number 1, product placement. Fans have alleged that Will has used his apology video to Chris Rock as a way to advertise his own products. When the actor took to YouTube last week to discuss his high-profile falling out with Chris at the Oscars earlier this year, he opened up about the aftermath of the incident and apologized to the comic for his actions. Quote, "I've reached out to Chris and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. There's no part of me that thinks that that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults." It was a nice message, but it's not the only thing that people noticed. Fans spotted a bottle of water placed on the table beside him throughout the video, but it wasn't a bottle of water from any famous brand, it was Just Water, which is incidentally his son's company. People on Twitter claim that this was a clear example of self-promotion, rather than a real apology. One user wrote, "Will Smith advertising his own bottled water company during his apology video makes it entirely disingenuous." Or, "My favorite part of the Will Smith apology video was the tactical Just Water placement. Still gotta get that paper even when apologizing." But some people thought that the apology was genuine and that he needed to help out his son's company whenever he can. Safe to say that the not so subtle advertising didn't go down well with fans.
Coming in number 10, we have Victoria Beckham. Ever since Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz's lavish Miami wedding, rumors have been circulating about the state of Nicola's relationship with her new mother-in-law Victoria Beckham, with majority of the feud being on social media. In a discussion, no actual reports on the matter had made it to the press until recently, when a source decided to speak to Page 6 and not hold anything back, with the source claiming that there's been a full-on Cold War happening right now between Victoria and Nicola. The source would also confirm that their feud started prior to the wedding day. Apparently, the two can't even stand each other, and it was a build-up to the wedding day, and the build-up to the wedding day was horrendous. According to the source, the issue is to do with the classic bride and mother-in-law relationship turning sour in the lead up to the wedding. Something we've seen in too many movies, but none of which are as juicy as the stakes in the real-life drama. Apparently, Nicola didn't want Victoria to be a part of any of the planning, and she wouldn't clue Victoria in on anything. The communication was minimal, and this is what led to the non-stop petty drama, which caused tension between the eldest Beckham son and his parents. And the feud would only worsen when Brooklyn posted his new wife's Tatler magazine cover, which had the headline, "The New Miss Beckham." It's also been said that the feud started between the two when Nicola decided to wear a Valentino dress instead of a wedding gown designed by Victoria on her big day. Anwar Hadid. In the beginning, it's said that Nicola and Anwar Hadid split on good terms, and the two dated for a year and a half. However, back in 2018, when Hadid was caught making out with Kendall Jenner, it seems like the relationship between Hadid and Nicola would turn sour, and Nicola would unfollow the Nicole Hadid family while erasing any memories she had with them on her social media pages. Hadid and Peltz first went public with their relationship back in 2017 after Nicola made headlines for her brief relationship with Justin Bieber. Since the two went public, they seem to have been going strong up until Hadid was spotted with Kendall Jenner, and while it may seem like Kendall may be the reason behind the split between Hadid and Nicola, with the photo between Kendall and Hadid being pretty damning. If their relationship really did end on a good note, why did the whole Hadid family also go on to erase all the pictures of her from their timeline like she never existed? Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming at number 8, we have Bella Thorne. Back in 2015, Bella Thorne would make remarks about there being a mean girl in Hollywood. In an interview with HuffPost Live, Bella would talk about why she hates the unnamed young woman whom she told 17 magazine that she stays away from at all costs. Bella would say it's not like she hated her because she was a billionaire, she just didn't like her because she's a billionaire and she makes sure everyone knows that she is. Bella also went on to describe the mean girl as being someone in business with siblings who has been a billionaire since she was little, and she never had to work for anything in her life. While people try to point fingers at the Hadid family, the Jenners, Ariana Grande, the frontrunner of all accounts when it came to the speculation is that Bella Thorne was talking about Nicola Peltz, as her father really is a billionaire and she has 7 siblings and 2 half-siblings, with her family living on sprawling estates in Bedford, New York, and owns a luxurious spread in Florida. While Nicola wasn't exactly a household name, she was sure working on it, and what made Nicola become the #1 speculation is that she even starred in a 2014 independent film with Greg Saltkin, who used to date Bella Thorne. Number 7, Romeo and Beckham. Being said at the moment, Romeo is trying to be the peacemaker to smooth over an alleged family feud between his brother's wife and his mother, with tensions growing since the service, and Victoria being reportedly annoyed that the bride, a billionaire heiress, did not choose to wear a wedding dress designed by her fashion house. Sources also say that Nicola was unhappy about her new mother-in-law stealing the limelight away from her on her big day at her family's estate, and Romeo has been trying to repair the damage by acting as a mediator, talking to his mom as well as Brooklyn and Nicola. However, the tensions have been so high that Romeo has had to disinvite Nicola from his 20th birthday party, and instead Nicola and Brooklyn will be posting and attending various events in the US instead of celebrating Romeo's birthday with him. While it's been said that Romeo has been on the phone with his brother morning, afternoon, and night, he's also been talking to Nicola to try to smooth over the situation. Romeo finds the whole situation awful for Brooklyn because his marriage started out with so much stress between his mother and Nicola, and that Nicola has demanded that Brooklyn remains loyal to her at all costs, and he can't even back up his family. Number 6, David Beckham. David Beckham has reportedly confronted Brooklyn Beckham over the drama involving Victoria and Nicola. While it's been said in the past that David has never lost his temper with Brooklyn or has talked harshly to him, it has finally happened as the athlete has had to read a riot act to his eldest child. An inside source would reveal that David had it out with Brooklyn when he told him that we don't do this in our family, and you know we don't do this in our family. What happens next is up to you, but we are done with the drama. Apparently David was really upset about the comments made by Nicola and Brooklyn in their interview for a magazine. David found the article to be a statement that washed the family's dirty laundry in the public, and he was really disappointed that his son would do something to his family that would be so hurtful. Instead of working things out with their family, it seems like they would rather use the press to make a household name of Nicola, which doesn't seem to be working out the way they planned it to. Number 5, Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber never found his relationship with Nicola Peltz really healthy or serious. Nicola and Justin first sparked dating rumors in May of 2016 after they were spotted out on a handful of dates in LA. Although Justin was touring at the time, he made time for date nights with Nicola and even took her on vacation to his hometown in Toronto. Although the two were never officially a couple, Justin was reportedly smitten with the actress. However, it seems like everything fizzled out because Justin found his relationship really unhealthy with the star, and he just wanted something serious and felt like Nicola wasn't that person. While Bieber never confirmed why he thought this about Nicola, after the two finished their relationship, he would come out to say that he needed a healthy relationship with people he could feel safe with, and that he could feel safe to say whatever he wanted to and not be judged for it. He would then go on to say when he was looking for a girl to be his partner, he wanted someone who was confident in herself and honest, and he would then go on to say he would also have to find her very attractive and that he could see himself with her for the rest of his life. And it's clear that Nicola was never going to be that person. Number 4. Emma Bunton. After confirming her original invitation that she would attend Brooklyn's lavish wedding to his fiancée Nicole Peltz just hours before they were meant to get married, Emma would back out and reveal why she couldn't attend the wedding. While the Spice Girl would share a picture of the beaming group snaps with the happy couple to Instagram just hours before they were set to wed. In her caption, she would explain that she was unable to join and told her former band member Victoria and her husband not to cry. However, in the caption, she never really shouted out Nicola or Brooklyn, and her whole post would be more about how sorry she was for not being able to go to the event to support Victoria and David. While there were photos of Nicole and Brooklyn, while Emma and Victoria are said to be close friends, it's clear even though she may like the couple, she's always going to support and stand by Victoria, and she knew all the drama leading up to the event was something she never wanted to be a part of, and she chose to stay away from it so she could escape all the drama. Many fans were definitely expecting there to be a Spice Girl reunion, but without her attendance, it would just be a gutting feeling. Number 3. Marc Anthony. Nicola reportedly stormed out of her own wedding reception crying over a gushing tribute for her mother-in-law Victoria Beckham. The billionaire heiress and the wife of former legendary football player David Beckham allegedly have a strained relationship ever since Nicola's wedding with Brooklyn. Insiders close to the family have stated it all started during a lavish ceremony when a wedding guest at the time, Marc Anthony, gave a gushing speech in honor of Posh Spice. With the speech not mentioning Nicola at all and being about how awesome Victoria was, Nicola would be enraged with anger because she wasn't the center of attention on her wedding day, so she stormed out of the wedding reception crying with her sister and mom. However, another source would say it wasn't that she was crying because of Marc's speech about Victoria, it was because he allowed Victoria to steal her first dance song. Nicola knew that Marc was close to the Beckhams and would be complimentary to them in his talk. However, if she was concerned about it, her father wouldn't have paid Marc and his band to perform. Number 2. Cruz Beckham. While the Beckham family usually tends to be pretty tight-knit, things have been pretty tense since the awkward April wedding. Cruz would be left to choose sides. The whole choosing side thing would start after fans started to realize that Brooklyn wasn't posting any memories with his family lately, and they all seem to be about Nicola and her family these days. It seems like after Nicola got married to Brooklyn, she made him forget about his family and where he came from. While fans have pointed out that if David Beckham was their dad, they would be proud to call him dad. It also caught the attention of Cruz, who would show his support to his family by posting a picture saying that he loved his mom and another picture that said his dad had the best clothing. Cruz would then also repost a photo that Romeo shared as a throwback picture from Brooklyn's wedding with the groom walking alongside the rest of the Beckham men, and the caption said, "Nothing more important than family," to which Victoria would reply by sharing a series of heart emojis. Number 1, we have Brooklyn Beckham. When a celebrity posts an image on social media, it can cause quite a stir even if the intentions were completely innocent. When Nicola posted an image that she thought was innocent, she would start to be criticized by hundreds of fans on Instagram after she posted a picture to make her husband Brooklyn Beckham jealous. The photo upset more than a few people when she posted the picture being hugged from behind by designer and friend Giuliano Calza. He jokingly posted in the comments of the photo, "Make Brooklyn jelly." In the image, Giuliano can be seen giving Nicola a kiss on her cheek. The image has now gone to revive its fair share of criticism. While it was meant to be a joke, fans still called Nicola out by saying Brooklyn looked hostile and that Nicola was trying to put on a show to get on his nerves, and it clearly worked. Another fan would tell Brooklyn that Nicola was humiliating him, and enough was enough. Coming at number 10 today, we have Liam Payne. When it comes to Liam Payne and Zayn's relationship, it honestly sounds pretty complicated. When Liam appeared on the podcast Impulsive with Logan Paul, when his former One Direction bandmates' names came up in the context of Paul's brother, social media Jake Paul having a feud with the singer back in 2020, Liam would say, "There's many reasons why I dislike Zayn, and there's many reasons why I'll always be on his side. However, at the same same time, Liam would then go on to note that he can't commend some of the things that Zayn has done and that he can't be on his side for that. Liam would go on to say, "What I can say is I understand, and your only hope is at some point in their life, the person on the other end of the phone wants to receive the help that you're willing to give them." Liam would also share insights to one argument he had with Zayn when he would describe the situation, noting that Zayn threw him up against a wall, and Liam had to say, "If you don't remove those hands, there's a high likelihood you'll never use them again." Although in the past the former boy banders have restrained themselves from airing out the band's dirty laundry, Liam took the opportunity to provide his half of the story. Coming number 9, Gigi Hadid. After news broke that Zayn got into a fight with Gigi Hadid's mom, Gigi would release a statement to E! News where she said she would like to stay focused on doing what's best for her daughter. A rep for Gigi would also share that she wouldn't be commenting on the news about Zayn striking Gigi's mother. Shortly after, multiple sources would confirm that the pair had broken up, with one source saying they are not together right now. They are both good parents though, they co-parent. Yolanda is of course very protective of Gigi. She wants the best for her daughter and granddaughter. Apparently at the same time, Gigi wasn't in the US at the time when Zayn got into the altercation with Gigi's mother, as she was spotted at Paris Fashion Week. It would then be reported that Zayn called her and started to yell at Gigi over the phone and told her to strap on some effing balls and defend your partner against your effing mother in my house. Gigi would then abruptly leave France on the same incident to travel home to tend to the issue. Number 8, Yolanda Hadid. News of Gigi Hadid and Zayn Malik splitting up sent shockwaves across their fan bases all over the world. What proved to be more shocking was when we heard Gigi's mom, Yolanda, accuse Zayn of striking her. While the news created a storm at the time, alienating fans would come to back up the singer. Yolanda Hadid has now been accused of lying about the alleged attack. The former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star allegedly made up the narrative to have her daughter Gigi's boyfriend deported since she's always hated him. According to unconfirmed reports, Yolanda's former aide would then come out to say, "Word on the street is that her former assistant is the ex-housewife and mama to top models Gigi and Bella. Made up the whole thing about her daughter's baby daddy. She didn't like him." Yolanda got into the fight after she barged into his and Gigi's house in Pennsylvania while the model was abroad on business, and it was alleged that Yolanda was then thrown against a dresser and called some pretty colorful language by Zayn. The singer would then later be fined and sentenced to 90 days of probation on the offense, totaling 360 days. In addition, he was ordered to start taking anger management classes and domestic violence programs. Number 7, Louis Tomlinson. Former band members Zayn Malik and Louis Tomlinson had a fight back after the band broke up. It doesn't appear to have ever been fully resolved. Louis, who lost his mother to leukemia in 2016, was hurt and upset with Zayn, while Liam gave an emotional performance on the X Factor just 3 days after his mother's passing. 3 former bandmates, Harry, Niall, and Liam, all came to support him, but Zayn would be a no-show. Later, when Louis was asked about his relationship with Zayn, he would note that it never fully resolved. He would also go on to say, "I had a couple of calls with him after I lost my mom, and all the boys had agreed to come to that performance and he didn't show, so that really bugged me." While Louis hoped nothing serious was going on with Zayn that would cause him to miss the performance and support his former band member. Over the last couple of years, Louis has even tried to get in contact with Zayn to see how he was and if he was okay, but it's been really hard for him to get in contact with the singer, and that he definitely still wishes him well. However, even though he does wish Zayn the best, Louis still doesn't think he's mature enough to get over what frustrated him in that relationship, but he is closer to being over all the drama between him and Zayn. Coming at number 6, Niall Horan. Niall Horan has been pretty open when it comes to his fallout with Zayn Malik. In an interview with GQ, Niall would admit that even to this day, things have been pretty frosty between the two. While speaking about their feud, Niall would admit that Zayn has to be the hardest man to stay in touch with and that they had a falling out a few years ago. Niall didn't go into any further details about what his feud with Zayn was, or even talk about what exactly went down when it occurred, but it also isn't really surprising news, as Zayn has been pretty open about the fact that he hasn't remained friends with any of the guys since he left the band. Niall also would go on to note that Zayn would probably tell you that he is pretty hard to stay in touch with himself, but Niall doesn't particularly like to talk about him a lot anyways. While Niall would also go on to to note when Zayn does have something coming out or going on, he will text him, but he doesn't really get a reply. But at the end of the day, Niall will still give him a shout, as he has no bad blood with him, but understands some things have a lifespan and hopes the two can put the past behind them one day and catch up. Number 5, Jake Paul. When Zayn and Jake Paul were both in Las Vegas back in 2020 for a boxing event, according to TMZ, the two ended up staying in rooms next to each other. When Jake ran into Zayn, he would then ask Zayn if he was going out for the night. This is when the story began to get pretty complicated. According to Jake's sources, they would say that Zayn started to be really rude with Jake and told him IDGAF if you have a good night. This of course would shock Jake, and he simply just went to hang out with his brother Logan instead. Then later, when the two ran into each other again, Jake would try to make friends with the singer, but Zayn started to yell at Jake and asked him, "Who the F do you think you are?" Zayn reportedly even tried to instigate a fight with Jake. Of course, Zayn's sources would have a different story, as they would try to claim that Jake was under the influence and kept trying to annoy Zayn by asking him to party multiple times. But either way, to start a fight with someone who is simply just being annoying isn't really justifiable. And while there probably is a bunch of lies somewhere between both stories, apparently Jake doesn't hold a grudge and he's happy to move on. Number 4, Perry Edwards. Back in 2016, Perry Edwards would confirm that Zayn ended their engagement, but that it wasn't the worst thing that she had to go through with her ex. When Little Mix appeared on UK's Heart Radio following the release of their new single, Shout Out to My Ex, during the visit, Perry would open up about a phone call she received from her ex that caused her to have a meltdown in the middle of the airport. Perry would say, "I was at the airport and I got an awful phone call from someone, and then I just remember screaming in the airport." This would also be the time that Perry would admit that Zayn dumped her over text and she became a woman possessed, and it was awful. Fortunately, she had her girls beside her to help her get through the whole ordeal, including the breakup in general. Number 2, Stephanie Davis. Back in 2016, Big Brother star Stephanie Davis would reveal that she had to end her relationship with Zayn Malik because he was seeing Perry Edwards. The axed Hollyoaks actress, who briefly spoke about her romance with Zayn while in the Celebrity Big Brother house, admitted that she dumped him in 2011 after she discovered he was meeting up with his now ex-fiance. She would then go on to explain, "We dated 5 months in 2011 just before he started seeing Perry. We broke up because I found out he had been meeting up with Perry." It's said that just before Stephanie and Zayn got together, they were pretty close behind closed doors, and that they were able to keep their relationship pretty quiet before they decided to go their separate ways. While the two ended on very good terms, that still wouldn't stop Stephanie from speaking out about dating Zayn in the spotlight following their split by saying, "I realize it's too hard to keep a relationship going in this industry." Stephanie would then even reveal that when she did finally say goodbye, they would still speak to each other, and she hoped that one day he would finally be happy. Coming at number 1, today we have Bella Hadid. Obviously, the relationship between Gigi Hadid and her baby daddy, Zayn Malik, has been stretched to its breaking point by accusations he assaulted her mom, Yolanda. But it turns out the singer's friendship with Bella Hadid has also been broken beyond repair. According to the US Weekly, sources are claiming that the model had a major blowout with the former One Direction singer following his alleged outburst with her mother. Bella hates Zayn for everything he's done to her sister, which is understandable. The update would come just days after Bella unfollowed Zayn on social media. Bella has chosen to stand by her mom no matter what, and she completely believes her mom when it comes to her story, and Bella is definitely not pleased at the fact that Zayn thought it was justifiable to strike her mom during an altercation that actually wasn't that serious. Before the altercation, Bella actually had a really close relationship with Zayn, but now she feels really betrayed by him, and she can't believe that he would do such a thing to her family. While a part of him will always be a part of her life because he is the father of her niece, the altercation between him and her mom is just so distressing. Number 10, Chevy Chase. In 1978, Murray infamously got into a physical altercation with Chase Chevy. After the star returned to Saturday Night Live as a guest host, it began with the two trading some pretty heavy insults towards each other. It started when Murray telling Chase to go get with his wife, and Chase responded by telling Murray his face looked like something Neil Armstrong landed on. The insults seemed to escalate as quickly as their comebacks did, and television following the rest of the cast watched the two display in a physical altercation. Larnie Newman noted, "It was a very sad and painful thing to watch unfold during her appearance on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen in June of 2021. In May of 2012, Murray called his part in the scandal a childish feeling of jealousy and anger he let control him. He went on to say things that he was mad that Chevy left the cast of Saturday Night Live and Murray somehow was avenging Angel, who had to speak for everybody else. Chevy and Murray are soon back on good terms after the fiasco, and everything was fine as the two starred together in the 1980 comedy Caddyshack shortly after the altercation. Number 9. RichardDreyfuss. Oscar winner Richard explained when he was working with Murray on the 1991 film What About Bob that Murray was a bully. He explained that Bill drank a lot at dinner and let his true colors showed and allowed everybody to see how much of a bully he was. When reflecting on his whole experience on set, he highlighted one incident where he asked Murray to read a tweak in the script and Murray lost his temper. He went on to say that the star became face to face with him, so close that their noses were touching. Murray then went on to scream at Richard at the top of his lungs and said, "Everybody hates you, you are tolerated." Richard then went on to note that he had no time to react because Murray then proceeded to throw an ashtray at him. Luckily the ashtray missed, and rather than making things worse, Richard decided to leave the room. Richard showed us that Murray has a violent past, not just with female co-stars, but also with his male ones. Number 8, we have Laura Ziskin. RichardDreyfuss wasn't the only person who had problems with Murray and how he handled himself on the set of filming What About Bob. As producer, Laura Ziskin has said that she once had a disagreement with Murray which resulted in him tossing her into a lake. Although at the time she called it playful, in 2003 she claimed the event wasn't so playful, as throughout the set Murray started to become more aggressive. In one incident, Murray asked Laura for an extra day off, and when she said no, he had an epic meltdown and took Laura's glasses off before breaking them and throwing them across the parking lot. The altercation caused everybody to walk off production, and a bunch flew back to LA to film, only after Disney hired some bodyguards to physically separate Murray from harming anyone else between takes. Bill Murray tried to justify his actions in an interview back in 1991, saying he didn't get along with many of his cast and directors, and all he was doing was standing up for himself. Number 7, we have Harold Ramis. Bill Murray had a long decade estrangement from his longtime friend and collaborator Harold. Sadly, the two's friendship collapsed while on set of the film 1993 Groundhog's Day. During a heated creative dispute, Harold said he grabbed Murray's shirt collar and the two got into a heated altercation. In a book later released by Harold's daughter Violet titled Ghostbusters' Daughter, Life of My Dad, Violet would go on to note that the incident happened and Murray wouldn't speak to Harold for over 20 years, and even though Harold tried not to take it personally, he was ultimately left feeling heartbroken and confused about the unsurprised rejection. Murray was unheard from up until Harold was in the hospital, and Murray showed up to visit his old pal unannounced at 7 a.m. in February of 2014 with a box of donuts and a police escort. With Harold losing his ability to speak, he was no longer able to speak to Murray before his passing. However, Murray didn't mind and hung out with Harold for a couple of hours anyways. I'm glad Bill was able to put the two's differences aside and came together for his friend before his passing. Number 6, we have McGee. Moving on to the set of Charlie's Angels, filmed in 2000s, director McGee, whose real name is Joseph McGinty Nichol, claimed in an interview with Guardian in May of 2009 that working on movies can be pretty stressful at times, even adding that he doesn't think he's ever been on a film that hasn't had some type of altercation break out. In one incident, his nose was obliterated when his head collided with another. At first he didn't want to recall the name of the actor with respect, however he went on to say it was Bill Murray. And the industry is very passionate industry, and people take care of their own work. When Murray heard about the interview, he did his own interview with Times of London in October 2009. The star went on to note that Joseph has a really active imagination, and he doesn't understand why he would make up that story. He then took to the situation further by stating a really serious sentence that made many feel uncomfortable. With Joseph coming forward about his experience in past film sets encountering the same situation, it's easy to see why Bill would lie to cover up the allegations, but now that more stars are coming forward, it's clear that McGee had nothing to lie about and was warning us all about the actor before these events could happen again. Number 5. Angelica Houston. Addams Family star Angelica Houston was essentially hurt by Bill Murray's behavior on set of Wes Anderson's 2004 film. Angelica said Bill was horrible after working with him, and in May of 2017, Houston told Vulture that during her first week of set, Bill invited the entire cast for dinner except for her. She went on to say that everyone went out for dinner a little dog-faced at the fact she wasn't there or had been invited, and throughout the day they were telling her, "Oh, you know, we really don't want to go," but they all went otherwise. The whole situation really hurt Angelica. With the film being shot all over Italy, Angelica noted that she didn't see Bill again until they were on set to shoot in Florence. When she entered the set, Bill greeted her and asked her how she was and even said, "I miss you." In the heat of the moment, Angelica looked at him and said he was full of it and told Bill that he didn't miss her. Murray is said to be confused for a moment but was unfazed by the comment. Angelica showed us that Bill didn't care about his castmates and he wasn't afraid to single them out and make them feel unwanted in many situations. Number 4, we have Richard Donner. In the 1988 film Scrooge, directed by Richard Donner, follows Bill Murray as he plays a selfish, cynical television executive, Frank Cross, as he's haunted by 3 ghosts on Christmas Eve. Being the first film that Donner and Murray were set to work in together, Donner was worried because he didn't know if the pair would get along. And considering Murray's past behavior on other sets, I don't blame him. With Scrooge being a box office success, Donner came forward to say that Murray was a super creative actor, but occasionally was difficult to work with. He also noted he was only as difficult to work with as any other actor. Cast and crews have gone on to say that the source between the rift between Donner and Murray was mainly because Murray's approach to acting is fully under the approach of method acting. When on scene, Murray has an approach that is somewhat wild and reckless, which can pose difficulties for actors and directors who are more comfortable with working in more traditional methods. With there being 2 sides to every story, Murray went on to say that the two had a disagreement over every single minute of the day because Donner demanded for lines to be delivered louder. Despite their differences on set, the two were still able to work it out and create an amazing film, which is still today's best holiday classic films to watch for the Christmas season. Number 3, Gina Davis. On the 1990 film set of Quick Change, Gina Davis explained how she was harassed and that she should have walked out. In her memoir titled Dying of Politeness, the Oscar-winning actress highlighted the actor once screamed at her on set for being late and continued to yell as he followed her to her trailer on the set. The altercation happened in front of a large crowd, cast, crew, and onlookers, but the star noted she should have walked away from their first meeting or profanely defended herself so she wouldn't have gotten the part. Davis and Murray first met in a hotel suite where he continued to try to use a massage device on her throughout her audition after her initial refusal. Davis explained she could have avoided the inappropriate treatment if she knew how to react or what to do during the audition, but she also didn't want to appear hard to work with, so she stayed quiet. She then went on to say that there's no point in regretting things, yet she's still here regretting it. This isn't the first time Murray has been linked to inappropriate behavior, as recently on the Searchlight Pictures suspended the production of Being Mortal after allegations surfaced of Murray engaging in an inappropriate way towards other cast members. Murray tried to defend his actions by saying, "I did something funny and it wasn't taken that way." Number 2, Jennifer Butler. On October 12, 2008, Jennifer Butler filed for divorce from Bill Murray, while alleging that their relationship was brutal and uncomplimentary. After 11 years together, the couple's relationship ended with both parties being accused of ugly behavior that played out in front of the press. While filing for divorce, Jennifer also requested at the time that there be a restraining order placed against her husband. While Bill's lawyers did come out to say they couldn't comment on the fact of the case, they did say Bill was deeply saddened by the breakup, and Jennifer Butler's accusations against her husband showed that Murray was aggressive both on and off set, and that her story should have been the reason the star was cancelled years ago before this mess got any worse. The two remained loving parents to their 4 children and would remain that way on best behavior for the best interest of their children. Number 1, Lucy Liu. Lucy's experience with Bill on the set of Charlie's Angels was truly heartbreaking, considering the stars showed amazing chemistry on screen. However, Lucy went on to say that she got into an argument with Murray on set and he started using language that was inappropriate and unacceptable. On the Los Angeles Times podcast, Asian Enough, Lucy said that during the confrontation, she stood up for herself and did not regret doing it. The star went on to note that no matter how high you get on the totem pole, there's no reason to put other people down. Liu went on to say that the clash came during a rehearsal on a scene which had recently been reworked. Bill was unable to come because he had to attend a family gathering, and when he learned about it, he was upset and hurled insults at her. Lucy definitely wasn't having it, and she definitely wasn't going to sit around and be talked to in a degrading language, so she decided to speak up for herself and stand by the one thing she had, which was her self-respect and dignity. Murray later downplayed the incident by saying, "Look, I will dismiss you completely if you are unprofessional in working with me. When our relationship is professional and you're not getting that done, forget it." Since the incident, many crew members who were on the set have told Lucy they're really grateful for what she did. Lucy then went on to say that since the film, her and Murray reconciled and that they have nothing bad to say about him. The two started talking at the Saturday Night Live reunion, and he was perfectly nice to her, but she also noted she would no longer sit around and be walked all over. Like Lucy, many stars have addressed their concerns about Bill over the years, and Hollywood should have been keeping an eye on it before matters got worse. Coming in at number 10, we have Aaron Taylor Johnston. Just after the movie Bullet Train hit theaters, Brad Pitt's co-star, Aaron Taylor Johnson, had a lot to say about the 58-year-old co-star Brad Pitt. He even revealed that his humble and gracious human being has a list of actors he refuses to work with. He's in a new chapter of his life. I think you work with many actors, and after a while you start making notes. I'm definitely not working with this person again. Brad has this list too. The good list and the bad list. True, not everybody gets along with each other on set, and Hollywood has a history of co-stars clashing. So if Brad Pitt is looking to keep himself out of drama by eliminating people he doesn't want to work with, then more power to him. There's no doubt that Aaron and Brad had a great working dynamic from what we can see in the movie. Let's just hope these two don't have each other on the bad list and they're on each other's good list so we can see them work together in the future. Coming in at number 9, we have Mark Forrester. It's claimed that since 2012, Mark Forrester and Brad Pitt refused to talk to each other, and probably for good reason. It's said that the relationship between the actor and director broke down to a degree that when they were filming the zombie apocalypse film, World War Z, the two had to communicate through third parties on set. With the film working on a tight deadline and the script being finalized and release dates being pushed back, and Pitt having final approval over new pages written by the writers, things definitely got a little heated on set. While Pitt wanted to salvage the end of the movie, Forrester wanted to scrap it and make the ending more simple. When Mark opened up about the drama, he said he believed he wasn't the problem in the first place, and rather than chucking more CGI at the problem, Mark stuck with his gut and basically kept pushing till the problem went away. So kudos for him for having the strength to do that. At number 8, we have Tom Cruise. Now, the pair starred in the 1994 film Interview with the Vampire. Pitt stated he couldn't stand working with Tom Cruise and that he found him annoying. Brad also noted that while they were filming the film, the actor felt miserable and that Cruise bugged him so much, it came to the point he started to resent him. The filming was so bad, at one point Cruise even tried to get off the film by asking the producer and film executive, David Geffen, how much it would cost, and David told him $40 million. Ultimately, Cruise decided to stay on the film, and the finished product shows that Pitt and Cruise had tension as both appeared to look exhausted. With the new Maverick sequel hitting box office, Tom wasn't shy to remind folks that he's back on top in Hollywood while his past co-host is nowhere near. Number 7, we have Harrison Ford. With claims that the devil was with them both, rumors started circulating that both Harrison and Pitt didn't get along while filming The Devil's Own. With Pitt noting that the film was the most irresponsible bit of filmmaking he's ever seen, majority of the two feuds came from the fact the actors couldn't decide which character should be the center of the film. With the two doing separate interviews about the film, Ford came out to say that for a second, Brad forgot for a minute he was talking to someone who was paid to write this stuff down. While the two were really excited to work with each other before the film started, it's sad to see that these great actors clash and let the worst get the best of them. Number 6, we have Mark Canton. Now, Harrison wasn't the only one who was said to had a feud with Brad Pitt while on the set of The Devil's Own. When Pitt claimed the film was irresponsible and that he couldn't believe how toxic the set was, news started to circulate that Pitt wanted to leave the film. That's when Mark Canton, the head of Columbia Pictures, had to threaten Pitt with a $63 million lawsuit that if he went through with the walkout, he was gonna sue him that. Mark even had to tell the actor that he didn't care and just to shoot something. While the filming was taking place, Pitt ultimately decided to avoid the lawsuit and stay on set. Number 5, we have Jennifer Aniston. Back in 1998, Jennifer and Brad were spotted on their first date, and by November of 1999, the two announced their engagement to the world, getting married on July 29, 2000. Despite both claiming they were madly in love with each other, ultimately, they decided to file for divorce on March 25, 2005, as rumors started circulating that Pitt may have had an intimate relationship with co-star Angelina Jolie while on set of Miss and Mr. Smith. Just after the divorce, Aniston agreed to do an interview with Vanity Fair where she opened up about still mourning her marriage and she desired just to move on. Aniston explained that her relationship sadly came to an end when it cracked open that she was shown photos of Pitt and Angelina, and she was sad because Pitt and Angelina beforehand denied both the allegations that they were together. Since the pair split, the two since seem to have rekindled their friendship and have gotten close since Pitt divorced Angelina Jolie. Shia LaBeouf, coming in at number 4. When on set of Fury, Brad Pitt is said to had some tensions with the actor. Shia didn't play around when it came to his character for his parts of the film, and he was so committed to the role he wanted to bring justice to his character. The actor was so into character, he even had one of his front teeth removed and went tased without showering. While Shia was determined to make an impression with his work on Fury, he may have rubbed off the wrong way towards Brad Pitt. With a lot of the tensions on set, Shia explained that him and Pitt actually ended up in a physical altercation where they were constantly butting heads throughout the filming process. Pitt has refused to talk about the feud and ultimately decided to praise the actor on his commitment to his work. Number 3, we have Leonardo DiCaprio. Before the 2019, when the pair filmed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it said that Leonardo DiCaprio actually had a restraining order against Pitt, and ultimately, that's why they didn't star any films together before 2019. In an interview, Brad joked that an incident they were no longer like to talk about happened as a result of the pair not getting along. In 1994, when Pitt was engaged to 90s blonde icon Gwyneth Paltrow, it said that Gwyneth broke Brad Pitt's heart when she ended their engagement, and after the breakup, it's rumored that Gwyneth was seen with Leonardo DiCaprio, and the pair was seen together. This obviously didn't sit well with Pitt, and his actions were pretty questionable towards DiCaprio, causing the restraining order to be put in place. However, in 2019, the stars both squashed their beef and are now said to be the bestest of friends. Number 2, we have Mike Tyson. Brad Pitt has always been in the headlines when it comes to his relationships, and this particular fling, no one saw coming. In 1988, Mike Tyson explained he was seeing now ex-wife Robin Givens when he caught Robin and Brad together. Tyson claimed he was mad and hurt by the incident, and he and Robin shortly after finalized their divorce. While Tyson claimed he was hurt by the whole ordeal, he also noted that he holds no ill feelings towards the top-ranked actor. Number 1, we have Angelina Jolie. Now, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt have had an ongoing feud since their split in 2016. With the two being locked in a messy court battle for divorce, the custody of their children, Angelina recently brought up some completely shocking allegations against Pitt that haven't been discussed to the public before. The allegations claim Pitt was passionately aggressive, not only towards Jolie, but their children as well. While Pitt has decided to remain silent on the new allegations, Angelina is definitely set to expose more allegations to the public soon, which is definitely going to be hard for Brad Pitt to bounce back from this one.
At number 10, we have Amber Heard. Now, many haven't heard much of her since her loss in the defamation case against her ex-husband Johnny Depp. However, most recently, Amber has been blamed for Kara's addiction struggle by a famous gossip columnist. Kara has opened up numerous times to the media about how rough her struggles with hard substances and thoughts of ending her life have been for her. But how was Amber involved? Well, for one, there's her past alleged romantic involvement with the actress while Amber was still married to Johnny. This went as far as Kara's name being dragged into their trial because old elevator footage obtained by the opposing legal team showed the actresses making out, which further proved Amber was unfaithful during her marriage. But their connection goes even deeper and seems a lot more troubling for the stars. Allegedly, they were additionally the organizers of sensual Hollywood parties, which numerous billionaire tech moguls were involved in. Jessica insisted that Kara was supposedly one of the famous women that Amber had set up her billionaire clients with. However, Jessica has no solid confirmation about how Kara was rumoredly involved in these events, aside from pictures of Kara at the parties. Like most parties, there were always drink and substance consumption occurring, which was said to be a major portion of the issues Kara is still reportedly going through. Jessica has labeled Amber as the enabler for, quote, hooking Kara on hardcore redacted at these parties. While there's no real way of knowing how much or little this could have affected Kara, it definitely didn't help. At number 9, we have Megan Thee Stallion. Now, we all know how confusing it was to see Kara's encounters with Megan at the 2022 Billboard Music Awards. It got so wild that fans worryingly assumed Kara was tripping on something and acting creepy while she followed the body artist around. At the time, one tweeted, "Memes beside, Cara Delevingne is so creepy and I hope she gets a restraining order from Megan Thee Stallion." Another accused Cara of being obsessed. However, the Suicide Squad actress eventually had to clear her name from the viral moment on July 22nd, where she had to finalize that she was simply a really excited hype woman at the time. The incident in question, in short, is that Cara was trailing Megan around the event, pulling odd faces at Megan and staring at Megan posing on the red carpet, later joining Megan in her photo op to assist her with her dress. It was eventually clarified that Cara attended the event with the rapper, and Megan did not deny this. In Cara's explanation to Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show, she explained, quote, "I really wanted to see her play and she asked me to come along with her. I didn't know I was gonna go sit or do anything. I thought I was just going to come and watch her play. I walked in and I had a seat in the front row and I'm like, I'm not meant to be here." At number 8, we have Poppy Delevingne. According to numerous reports, Poppy visited Cara's West Hollywood home last Wednesday morning. News outlets didn't state what she was there for, as she most likely didn't give reporters a reason. However, it was detailed that Poppy exited the house around 11 a.m. to leave in a black SUV. Poppy did inform them about an update on Cara, where she told them Cara was doing fine nowadays. It's still unknown whether or not Cara was home while Poppy was visiting though. Still, further media news released pieces that the socialite had rushed over to her sister from London because she was concerned for Cara's well-being with all the public incidents she was experiencing mixed in with her no-show events. It's a well-known fact that Cara and Poppy share an incredibly close sisterly bond. At number 7, we have Cara's Suicide Squad co-star and bestie Margot Robbie. According to reports made by TMZ, Margot was another famous pal of Cara's who popped a visit to her home on that same Wednesday. In Margot's case, she was photographed taking off from Cara's house looking visibly distressed and in tears. In photos, Margot is pictured with a reported bag of toiletries. Her visit came in light of Cara's then latest incidents, indicating that she might not be okay. Margot was described to still be distraught several hours after leaving Kara's residence around 5 p.m. Similar to Poppy, nobody knows if Kara was inside when Margot showed up. At number 6 we have Jay-Z. One of Kara's most heavily reported incidents over the past few weeks have been her getting forced to depart off the rapper's private jet while she was experiencing a reportedly erratic display at an LA airport. The British model's family and friends remain in fear that they will need to soon host an urgent intervention for the English star after witnessing her recently questioning behavior. This occasion was also the time when shocking photos and videos of Kara emerged online, showing her twirling around the airport with no shoes on. Kara also reportedly had bruises littered on her arm and her hair was unbrushed. This also followed up on her behavior prior to, when she appeared to be out of the sort while smoking, and also from her quote wild behavior at her Ibiza party with her loved ones. At number 5 we have Doja Cat. Another female rapper whose presence Kara graced at the 2022 Billboard Music Awards was the need-to-know musician Doja. At the time, Kara donned every headline you can think of for her odd behavior regarding Megan, both prior to and during the awards ceremony. But these weren't the only things that caught the media's attention. While seated for the show, Kara was brightly stationed front and center, and on either side of her was Doja and Megan. A fan-recorded video showed Megan and Doja, who were both nominated for a big award, holding a regular conversation. The actress soon pops her head out seemingly out of the blue while they're discussing and chimes into their conversation. Doja, who noticed her presence right away in surprise but seemed to not know Kara was there prior to her jumping in, said, "Oh my god, hi Cara Delevingne." In a since viral clip, Megan and Doja seemed to chuckle the encounter off. However, this is where things get a little weird. While they all seemed fine at the event, when it was over, Megan took to her Instagram stories to celebrate her win and the night. In one photo Megan reposted from a fan account, she and Doja are posed together smiling. But fans quickly pulled up the original photo and attempted to piece 2 and 2 together. In the OG, Kara was sitting between both rappers and resultantly ended up being edited out Diddy style from the snapshot. At number 4 we have Lady Mary Chartreuse. Starting with the fact that Mary has been sober since 2018 and Kara is supposedly spiraling nowadays, with reports saying she's falling back into her addiction, this may be proof that this particular friendship could be exposing more than they think. Both are people of importance in Hollywood who came from affluent upbringings and run in the same inner circle. The longtime friends were also both celebrating Kara's exclusive 30th birthday party together in Spain. But despite their closeness, many spectators of Kara's situation have hinted that Mary could be the most concerned for her besties nowadays. At number 3 we have Allrounder Rihanna. The supermodel and Rihanna are actually super close and have been for quite a few years now. Given the inner circle Kara runs in though, alongside her DGAF attitude, it may not be all that surprising to know that she has a personality so similar to her close friend known as the Queen Riri. The entrepreneur and superstar and Kara first introduced themselves to one another at a fashion show. The pair would later star in Luc Besson's then eventual film Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. When Kara spoke about this experience of theirs once to Glamour, she stated, "I've seen her work in the studio, in concerts, in meeting, but to see her act was incredible. And while they do more than just party together, whenever they do, they clearly always have a great time." When Rihanna turned 30 in 2018, Kara posted an Instagram collage of them having fun in honor of her bestie's bash. Outside of their personal affairs, the two even support each other professionally. Kara walked Rihanna's 2020 Savage X Fenty runway for the Business Bosses fashion show. At number 2 we have Sienna Miller. Now Sienna and Kara have quite similar behavior, and if you take a moment to even confirm this, you'll find tons of articles on their party animal ways. Furthermore, Sienna is basically dubbed as another enabler in Kara's life, as she is someone who Kara frequently allows her wilder side to shine with. This kind of dependence in the relationship could very well have played a hand in some of the recent reports of Kara floating around. However, Sienna is still considered to be one of Kara's closest friends, especially because of Sienna's friendship with Poppy. Reports detail that Poppy and Sienna lived together in New York after they left school. An apparent close insider to both Sienna and Kara informed Page 6 back at the beginning of the year that the duo were a pair who enjoyed a wild time together quite often, and that they've been longtime friends because of this. The insider was referencing a kiss Sienna and Kara reportedly shared in a club at the time. At number 1 we have Ajira Aboa, who met Kara while they were both still teen models. The pair did a featured sit-down with Glamour back in 2017, and in it, they spoke of their memories together and the fact that they couldn't figure out when their exact meeting happened. Ajira solely remembers Kara, quote, walking around on the street of London in a cardboard box. As the two recalled some of their earliest bonding moments in their life together, they giggled about the time they were at Glastonbury, as well as their first trip to the Burning Man festival. According to Kara, they were driven to the event by a woman who was pregnant and blind. When speaking on the basis of their friendship, Ajira described it as so. "People call us model best friends, but we were friends
before. What I've always been grateful for in our friendship is that we expect absolutely nothing from each other, just friendship. Kara and Ajira even share a matching tattoo of a half-red heart inked onto their hands to symbolize the close genuinity of their friendship.
Number 10. Candace Owens. In 2020, when Harry Styles made history as the first male to have a solo cover of Vogue, what really surprised people was that he wore a dress. The conservative commentator did not approve of his clothing choice, and so she tweeted, "There is no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows this, in the West, the steady feminization of our men at the same time that Marxism is being taught to our children is not a coincidence. It is an outright attack. Bring back manly men." In response to this, Olivia Wilde called Candace pathetic for basically attacking Harry's gender expression and conflating wearing a dress with being feminine. Then in response to that tweet, Candace hit back at Olivia, tweeting, "You're single for a reason," referencing her split from longtime partner Jason Sudeikis, which was announced just days earlier. The Twitter feud recently resurfaced online and has since gone viral after the actress was spotted holding hands with Harry at one of his friends' weddings a few weeks ago. But many fans pointed to the tweets as evidence that Olivia has always been defending and standing up for Harry. Number 9. Shia LaBeouf. The actor was initially cast as Jack in Olivia Wilde's upcoming film Don't Worry Darling, which debuts in theaters this fall. However, news broke in September of 2020 that she had replaced him with Harry Styles. But the story that Olivia began circulating was a little different. She alleged that she fired Shia due to a no a-hole policy that she had while directing. She told Variety, "Shia's process was not conducive to the ethos that I demand in my productions. He has a process that, in some ways, seems to require a combative energy, and I don't personally believe that is conducive to the best performances. Ultimately, my responsibility is to production and to the cast to protect them." But Shia was not happy with this side of the story and decided to publicly expose Olivia. He emailed both the director and Variety and denied that he was fired, instead saying, "You and I both know the reasons for my exit. I quit your film because of your actors, and I couldn't find time to rehearse." And in the most explosive revenge move ever, Shia then leaked a video of Olivia practically begging him to stay in the film and making it seem like Florence Pugh was the problem and she was the one who didn't want him there. The video went viral and the result was utter chaos. Number 8. Amani Babaran. The author, influencer, and activist reacted to the hypocrisy surrounding the viral video that was leaked of Olivia Wilde addressing the feud between Shia LaBeouf and Florence Pugh. She tweeted, "This whole Olivia Wilde thing reminds me of the Whitney Cummings thing. Reminds me of so many recent incidents in Hollywood where white women have revealed that they acquire power in the industry not because they challenge norms but tout female empowerment while changing nothing." In the clip, the 38-year-old is seen driving a car and speaking to the camera at the same time. She tells Shia that she is not ready to give up on the possibility of him working on the film, despite the fact that she later claimed to have fired him. But in reality, the video exposed that she was the one pleading with him to stay on the project. Shia was pretty much out to expose her and wrote an email to Variety explaining how everything went down. Quote, "Firing me never took place, Olivia, and while I fully understand the attractiveness of pushing that story because of the current social landscape, the social currency that brings, it is not the truth. So I am humbly asking as a person with an eye toward making things right that you correct the narrative as best as you can." Number 7. Tao Ruspoli. Olivia met her first husband, filmmaker and Italian prince Tao Ruspoli, through a friend of her family's in late 2002. The actress wasn't initially eager to meet him, but she warmed to the idea and she was charmed by his personality, charisma, and political activism. Just 6 months later, they eloped and seemed to be truly happy, and would eventually go on to pursue several film projects together. But in March of 2011, 8 years after eloping, Olivia filed for divorce from Tao. He did seem to be a lot more heartbroken out of the two of them, and even made a documentary called Monogamish, which was inspired by his heartbreak over the divorce. In the film, he revealed, "My wife just left me after nearly 10 years together, and my whole world has crumbled." But for her part, it seemed like Olivia almost wanted to embarrass her ex. In 2020, at an event hosted by Glamour Mag, she discussed trying to fake happiness with her ex-husband towards the end of her marriage. In fact, she aired out all their dirty laundry and talked about how bad their sex life was. Quote, "I felt like my vagina died. Turned off, lights out. You can lie to your relatives at Christmas dinner and tell them everything on the home front is just peachy, but you cannot lie to your Even if she was joking, that would have been a little painful for anyone to hear." Number 6. Gianmarco Soresi. As Olivia Wilde was presenting at CinemaCon and talking about her new movie Don't Worry Darling, a woman from the audience approached her and handed her a yellow envelope, which read "Personal and Confidential." The whole thing was caught on camera. As the actress opened the envelope, she found that it was custody papers from her former partner Jason Sudeikis. After a brief moment of shock, she decided to continue on with her presentation, but later addressed the bizarre moment in an interview with Variety. Quote, "In any other workplace, it would be seen as an attack. It was really upsetting. It shouldn't have been able to happen. There was a huge breach in security, which is really scary. The incident put Jason in a really bad light, but surprisingly, some people thought it was staged." Gianmarco Cerezi, a New York actor and stand-up comedian, seemed to believe that the whole thing was a PR stunt. He tweeted, "We're a couple of days away from finding out that Olivia Wilde served herself custody papers." Not only did his tweet blow up, but a lot of people were apparently thinking the same thing. As another user wrote, "On the very same day, Olivia just announced the release of the trailer of her new movie, and days later, Jason started a new project. As if they wanted all the attention on them. Open your eyes." Wow. Number 5. Florence Pugh. As we know, the Hollywood it girl appears in Olivia Wilde's upcoming film alongside Harry Styles. However, there was reportedly much tension on the set between the two women. Florence allegedly wasn't too happy seeing her director hook up with Harry, considering the fact that at the time she was still married to Jason Sudeikis. But the main reason for the feud between the two actresses is because Florence reportedly did not feel safe or comfortable playing Shia's love interest in the movie, as the actor has been recently plagued with disturbing allegations like accusations of domestic violence. And while Olivia made it seem like she was understanding and going to accommodate her request, the video Shia leaked of her tells a different story entirely. In the video, Olivia sounded heartbroken that he was leaving the project and instead makes it seem like Florence was the problem after all. She said, "The fact that you're leaving might be a little bit of a wake-up call to Miss Flo. If she really commits, if she really puts her mind and heart into this at this point, and if you guys can make peace, and I respect your point of view, I respect hers, but if you guys can do it, what do you think?" So it's easy to see why Florence would be upset at that. Number 4. Vanessa Hudgens. When the High School Musical star made some pretty controversial comments complaining about having to quarantine and restrictions, Olivia Wilde was quick to shut her down. During the Instagram live, Vanessa Hudgens said, "Yeah, till July sounds like a bunch of BS. I'm sorry. It's a virus. I get it. I respect it. But at the same time, like, even if everybody gets it, people are gonna die, which is terrible, but like inevitable." Her tone-deaf comments earned her a whole bunch of backlash on social media, especially from Olivia, who slammed her in a tweet of her own, writing, "In 1,000 years, they'll dig up our society and find this precious digital moment and be like, oh okay, so this is why they mysteriously disappeared from the earth." She also left emojis of a head shaking in disappointment. All the criticism ultimately led the actress to return to her Instagram to clear up the misunderstandings. Vanessa wrote, "Hey guys, so yesterday I did an Instagram live and I realized that some of my comments are being taken out of context," and she proceeded to apologize for coming off as insensitive. It's unclear whether or not the two have made up since 2020, but it's likely Vanessa is still feeling the sting from being burned online. Number 3. Mark Joseph Stern. When the 2009 movie Richard Jewell came out, it was steeped in controversy, mostly because of Olivia Wilde's portrayal of real-life journalist Kathy Scruggs. The real Kathy, who died in 2001, was working at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution when she broke a story that the FBI was investigating a security guard named Richard Jewell for the in Centennial Olympic Park during the 1996 Olympics. But the issue with the movie was that it depicted the iconic female journalist as having traded for information, which was particularly offensive considering the fact that there was no evidence Kathy Scruggs ever did that, and even many of her past colleagues came forward condemning the movie. Slate senior writer was among the loudest voices in protest of the film and slammed Olivia for her role. Quote, "Please do not pay to see movies that feature fictional female journalists who sleep with sources for a story. It's egregiously sexist, demeaning, and an insulting trope at this stage, and I don't see an appropriate response other than a flat-out boycott. It's 2019. Smart, thoughtful people have condemned this offensive trope loudly and consistently for years. They have persuasively explained why it is abhorrent. And he wasn't the only one taking offense." Number 2. Jessica Biel. There was once a claim out there that Jessica Biel did not want Justin Timberlake to be anywhere near his ex-girlfriend Olivia Wilde and allegedly sees her as a threat. It's completely understandable that Jessica wouldn't be jumping at the opportunity for Justin to work with Olivia again, given that in 2011 they were seen partying together at a Hollywood club called the Roxbury, and allegedly got pretty handsy before leaving together at 3 a.m. The actors, who were co-stars at the time in the movie Now, reportedly cuddled in a VIP section before moving out onto the patio. Eyewitnesses said that the two of them were even seen kissing. Even though Olivia responded to the rumors by tweeting, "Cool it, honey badgers, we are just friends and have been for years." But not only that, Jessica's marriage to Justin was also tested in 2019 when he was spotted with his co-star Alicia holding hands during a night out in New Orleans. The photos caused a huge scandal, and Justin had to make a public statement the following month, apologizing for his strong lapse in judgment, and claimed that despite the photos, nothing happened between him and his co-star. So Justin certainly has a rocky history when it comes to infidelity. And coming in at number 1, Jason Sudeikis. After a 7-year engagement, the pair announced that they had separated in November of 2020. Like most celebrity couples that live in the public eye, their divorce is very messy, and so was their big public breakup and bitter custody battle over their 2 young children. But it seems like these two are still at each other's throats, which may or may not be due to the fact that Olivia allegedly cheated on Jason with Harry Styles, which was one of the main reasons for their split. In fact, it was heavily implied that the two of them had been having an affair for around a month before the breakup. And what made it even worse was that Jason reportedly didn't realize it was happening and even brought their children to visit the set. The actress and director was faced with a bitter surprise when she was served custody papers halfway through her talk. She later told Variety, "I hated that this nastiness distracted from the work of so many different people, and the studio that I was up there representing try and sabotage that was really vicious. But you know, sadly, it was not something that was entirely surprising to me. I mean, there's a reason that I left that relationship." Ouch.